Hello guys. Okay, for this day we try to talk about different modals. When we have different modals, you try to remember about the class. We try to speak about, for example, can, could, may, might, should, ought to, that this is for different modals. In this order, use one by one according with our necessities. And after we have an exercise about our childhood. You try to remember we have can, that this is for ability. We try to use might when we have specific rules, that this is for prohibition, or we have different obligation in this way. Okay? What else? When we have should, that this is the obligation, or maybe that this is to refer that for different suggestions. Okay? In this way, we have different activities according with this. We try to have someone about this. Okay? We have this. You try to wait a minute. And we have different activities. Okay? Okay, I connect the chat. I say hello guys. Okay, that this is for this. We try to put in this order different activities. You wait 1 minute. Okay, that this is for modals. It's important remember we have different modals and different use. Okay, in this way we try to continue with activities, and after you put what is the correct modal according with this. When we have, for example, a specific modal, that this is for can, we can use this as only for ability. Ability that this is specific for one person. It's not anywhere activity. Activity is specific for one person. The activity maybe is special for the people. We have, for example, this. I can swim like a fish. It's very impressive because that this is for swim. We have other. When we have might, for example, you try to remember this. Okay, when we cinema, specific rules. We have, for example, you might to buy a ticket. That this is for my ticket because it's very important to buy this. We try to wait 1 minute for this. Okay. One moment. We try to continue, but it's necessary. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. Try to share specific word. About this. Okay. That is not important about this, but I try to continue with the different modals. Okay. Because it's indispensable you try to complete the activity. When when we have a suggestion, for example, when I have a stomach ache, it's indispensable you try to go to the doctor. Say you should, that this is a modal verb, you should drink chamomile water and maybe take one buscapin after 6 hours. That this is should. Remember that this is the other modal. You can use this. That this is for should because this modal is about different suggestions. Okay, but when you have, for example, I have dog, I have headache, I have a terrible headache. In this case, the doctor say, okay, my friend, you should take 2 aspirins and should then drink liquor maybe. It's for different suggestions. Very important, the suggestions when you go to the doctor, when you go to the dentist, maybe when you go to the school. It's important the different suggestions because it's important when you go to the dentist, for example, you say the doctor say you shouldn't eat candies. Okay, exactly. That this is for bubble gums. Cerebral problems when you have when you to eat candies or chocolates. Okay. Continue. Okay. We have the other modal verb that this is for have to, that this is for a specific obligation, that this is for a specific obligation, and that this is for tomorrow you have to study because it's very important for the test. In this case, that this is the most important have to. Okay. Okay, guys, what happened with the modal verbs? Verbs is a specific a verb that is a special verb because number one, you don't need s in the third person. When you use he, she, it, use only can, for example, may, for example, could. It's not necessary s in the verb. This is number one. Number two, you don't conjugate. You have I can, you can, he can, she can, it can. That is not necessary. What is the conjugation for she? What is the conjugation for we? We don't have this problem. Okay, number two. Number three, important. When you have a modal verb, together, the modal verb is important. The other verb in infinitive. Run, cool, cook, have to work, study. It's very important the other verb, okay? And in this way, try to have different activities. Okay. What happened when you are in the high school, for example? The teacher say in the class in the kindergarten, okay, don't don't open your books, okay? No problem. What is the other? When you have the rules, specific rules, use might, and the teacher say, okay, kids, for tomorrow you might plastiline. You might give plastiline. It's not necessary check. Okay. Try to put in order this. Not sure we continue. Okay. We try to say this. Okay, we continue with the synchronic online classes. That this is for general information. That this is about unit number 3. The topic that this is for modal mania. And we have more than 120 minutes. Okay, what is the objective of this class? That this is for students. We talk about childhood past experience, pronouncing clearly and how to be understood. We try to remember the different modals. Number 1, we try to review the modals. That this is for can, that this is for could, that this is for made, that this is maybe we have to, should. We have some examples according with the use, and after we have a specific activity using about the childhood. Okay, we have the activity, the real activity, that this is in this way, that this is clear. We use, okay, we have the one example in this way. We have this: students mustn't drink liquor in the high school. Students mustn't drink liquor in the high school. Okay, what is for the mustn't? Try to remember must. But that is important. Remember the modal verbs. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs is must. What is the negative for this? We have must not, or you have mustn't. Now, this is very important. Must to, debo, debería, mustn't, that this is the negative. And it's important to remember about the modal verbs. We don't have conjugation about modal verbs. Es, for I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, we use must. We don't have auxiliaries for the negatives. We only complete using not. And we have this, mustn't or must not. Else is important. We don't conjugate the verb. When we have the modal verbs, the other part of the verb that this is in present, we have in this way, mustn't drink liquor. And this is for number 1. I try to repeat that this is the sentences. The students mustn't, negative, for drink liquor in the high school. Because that this is for the prohibition. Okay, the students mustn't drink liquor in the high school. Prohibition. What is other prohibition when you are a little kid? When you are a little kid, what is the other prohibition, for example, in the high school? Okay, we have, for example, the students must their homework. Their homework. Okay, the students must do their homework because it's very important. It's the obligation, it's a rule when the students study, do the homework. But in this way, that this is for intensified, must homework. Okay, and this is number 1. Other example, when you are a little guy, what is the principal rules? For example, we continue in the school. The other is students mustn't, or you have must not, copy the exam, copy the test, copy the quiz. Mustn't, because that this is negative, that this is for the prohibition. Okay? What is other? When you have, okay, Felipe, you have 0. Okay, teacher. What is the other? We have, for example, the students must must say the truth. It's very important when you are a little kid, say true. You try, okay, you have 2 minutes and you try to write other 2 examples using must. Must. We continue with other important modal verb when we try to say different activities that this is for the future. Okay, we have, for example, my mom will dog the next week. But that this is for the future. You try to use your imagination when you are a little kid. You have different about the future. In this moment, for example, you are a little kid and you try to use remember will, and by negative we have want. In this case, we have this. I will travel to Disney World because that is of the different which for the when you are a little kid. Travel to Disney World, but that this is in future, you try to use will. What is the negative for will? You have will not or you have won't. About this, you have in this way this. I want by other dog. Because my dog in this moment is my best friend. In this case, we try to use will or want. Other about childhood, but using will. Okay, when I were a little kid, my thought in the future was I will be a superhero on the television. Okay, for example, He-Man. Now this is using will. Other example more. When I were a little kid, that is possible, my thoughts for the future, that this is for I will travel to US. What specific part for US? Maybe I like Mexico because when I were a little kid, my dream was it that this is for chiles. That this is about will for the present, for the future, excuse me, but in affirmative sentences, and want for the negative sentences. Want, that this is other modal verb, but similar to the others, will or want, that this is necessary with other verb. Don't conjugate, it's not necessary because we have I will, he will, she will, it will. That is not necessary a specific conjugation. It's not necessary as when we have the third person. The auxiliaries when we have negative. Remember the negative of the will, that this is for will not, or you have want. Okay? You have 2 minutes and you try to think other example using will and using want. Remember my example. When I were a little kid, my dreams, for example, I will travel to Disney World. Now this is for this. But you try to remember this when you were a little kid and you are unique song you have for the future. You say, I want have other in my house. Never, 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 never. I don't like this idea because I am the king. Okay? I am the king of my mom. Okay? 2 examples more using will and using okay, we try to continue with the other modal verb. We have this. The president should change his behavior with the journalists. What is the modal verb in this case that this is about? We're talking about should. Affirmative, and you have should not, or you have shouldn't about negative. We have should or shouldn't, that is very important activities, that this is when you were a little kid and you were in the high school. The principal's obligation for you. What are the suggestions of the teacher? For example, okay, when I were a little kid, my teacher say, you should the garbage or rubbish and you put in the bin. That is should. When sometimes I fight with the other baby, with the other boy, the teacher say, okay, come on, you shouldn't fight with other boys. And shouldn't. That this is other example. You should copy the homework. That this is your obligation. You should copy the homework. That this is for the negative, shouldn't or should not. You should not fight in the class. You should not eat in my class. You should don't listen music in my class. With the actually technology, maybe some kids have telephone. Class, the teacher say, okay, you shouldn't listen music. You shouldn't play in the cellular phone. You try to use your imagination and you try to think two examples more using should or shouldn't. Okay, we try to continue again about using cool. For example, you have this cold. That this is the past of the can. We have this. I ran cool very fast when I was a child. Okay, we have this code that okay, can is the present, could is the past. When we have the past, we try to use can, but when we have the past, this is for cold. Okay, and we have the example. When I was a little kid, I could eat vegetables. Okay? Other example that is about this, we have, for example, we have this, for example, when I was a little kid, I could drink milk. Because that this is typical when we are a little kid, my mom say, okay, please, you should drink. That this is obligation, that this is a rule in our house. We have other example, we continue using cold. I say, when you have is the past of the can. Okay? Past of the can. In this case, we have was a little kid who play in the park with my friends. Okay? And one more. When I was a kid, I could play marbles in the park with my friends. Okay? That this is about could and couldn't. For example, when I was a little kid, I couldn't play at night. I was scary at night. Okay? We try to use in 2 example more and you try to practice in this order. Using can, remember that this is for the present, and could, that this is the modal for the past. You have this, when I was a little kid, I could eat vegetables and fruits. Okay, this is number 1. Number 2, when I was a little kid, I could do any exercise in physical education. Okay. And finally, other one, that this is for the last, we have this. When I was a little kid, I wake up at, yeah, because it's very later. You try to think in other example more and write these examples. 2 examples using could and 2 examples using couldn't. But remember in relation to the childhood. The topic is the childhood using modals verbs. Okay, do it. Okay, we try to continue about this and we use, for example, we try to use have to. Have to, that this is an obligation, that this is a strong obligation. For example, the students have to study for the quiz, have to write your homework. It's very important you try to remember when we have different activities. You try to put in order your ideas. To that this is only that this is modal verb. Have, you have only have that this is for tener, but in the case use have to that this is for the obligation, that this is for tener. When try to you remember the similar to the others modal verbs, you don't need a specific conjugation, okay? We just have to need the s in the third person because we have to. You in this case have or no have auxiliaries, that is for negative, okay? But we have affirmatives, have to. For example, in the extra exam of English, the students have to study 20 verbs because this is your obligation. The other activity that this is for, I say, Monique, that this is for have to clean the school because it's very important for she this activity. Okay, we have other using have to drink medicine because I have a terrible headache. Okay, other about have to when you are very tired, say I have to rest. Okay, because that is for the obligation. You try to think in 2 or 3 sentences more, and after we continue with this video game. Video class. I say video game because that is possible similar to game. You practice, you write, maybe you load, and finally you have the result with the same name, with the little kid that is similar. You try to think, please. Okay, we try to continue with the other modal verb that this is for can, that this is for the ability, but we have this. Can you tell me the time, please? And we try to continue using this. Okay, students mustn't drink liquor in the high school. The other, my mom will buy a dog the next weekend. The president should change his behavior with the journalists. I ran cold when I was a child. May I go to the party today? Would like to study medicine, but I don't have time. Drivers must stop when the traffic lights are red. You ought to stop eating fast food because it is bad for health. Can you tell me the time, please? Can you want to speak English más fluency? You have to work and continue. Okay? We try to